K-pop legends Twice are back on tour for This Is 4, and I had the pleasure of getting to see them live in Seattle, not once, but twice, pun intended. We're going voiceover mode for this video today. Unfortunately, I am a little bit sick right now. I do apologize for the sound of my voice, but it's okay. I'm sure I'll be back to normal in the next one, so thanks for sticking with me. If you're new to the series, today I'm sharing my whole concert experience from ticketing to merchandise to the concert itself. So if you're a fan of Twice, or you're taking notes for your show, or maybe you just want to know how it went, hit the subscribe button for more. Leave a like on this video if you enjoy it, and tell me in the comments what your favorite Twice song is. With that out of the way, here's my concert review of This Is 4 by Twice. My brother and I arrived in Seattle the day before the concert so we could grab merch ahead of time and not have to worry about it on show days. Climate Pledge Arena was as organized as ever upon our arrival, with two lines separated by people with bags that needed to go through the X-ray security and those without who could just pass through security as normal. So I gave my bag to my brother to wait outside, and I stood in the line without bags. We got there just before 1 p.m. when the doors were set to open for the merch booth inside the venue, and within about 15 minutes, I was in the building no problem. Actually, I was in and out within an hour from arrival to getting our merchandise and exiting. Climate Pledge staff was on it. There was also cookies and coffee and snacks at the end of the line for free that people could take on their way out. They didn't have to do that, but I really liked that little special surprise. Merch prices, however, were expensive in my opinion. Unfortunately, that is becoming the norm, so if you want merch, you really need to know your own budget. If you've seen my other concert reviews, you'll know that this is something that I'm not exactly happy about, but it's not entirely the artist's fault, but I digress. I'll put the list of available merchandise on screen, plus the online exclusives if you're interested. I chose to get the uniform, zip-up hoodie, and t-shirt, all of which are so comfortable and nice quality, especially the uniform jersey. There was also a cute promo going on where if you spent over a certain amount, you could get a randomized Lovely keychain for free. I ended up with Jihyo and Momo, which I am not complaining about in the slightest. I love all the members, so I was gonna win no matter what I got. Total cost for me was $260 plus tax. The only item that sold out after we left was the track jacket, to my knowledge. I almost got it, but it looked a little thin for my personal taste, so I opted for the hoodie instead. Plus, I'm from the Pacific Northwest. Most of my closet is a hoodie. After we got our items, we headed back to the hotel, and the next day spent some time around Seattle in the relatively nice weather. Then it was time for our day one adventure. But first, a shout out to this video sponsor, DistroKid. DistroKid is one of the best music distributors online, helping artists like you and me get our music up on platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and more. For one small yearly price, you can distribute as much music as you can create without breaking the bank. DistroKid's got 3 membership plans for you to choose from, and depending on which one you decide is right for you, you'll also gain access to a wide library of additional features helping you to grow, promote, and manage your music career. One such fantastic feature is called DistroLock. DistroLock makes it difficult for anyone that isn't you to upload your music to digital platforms. Basically, what DistroLock does is create an acoustic fingerprint within the metadata of your song as it's sent out and notifies you should anyone try to upload your music illegally. They also register your song with different audio detection agencies to detect even if your song has been speed adjusted or pitch shifted, then they can block unauthorized uploads on your behalf. Music theft isn't as common as people make it out to be, but if you want an extra layer of protection for peace of mind, DistroLock is available for you to use and take advantage of. Use my special VIP link to save yourself 7% on your first year's membership with DistroKid. Link is in the description. Arriving at the stadium roughly an hour before showtime, Climate Pledge again was so well organized. The lines were split into those with bags, me, and those without. Not me. While the line did move pretty quickly, we cut it pretty close and luckily didn't miss the opening of the show because it started at about 8:15 p.m. and we got in right at 8 p.m. The no bag lines, however, got you right in with basically no line. There were so many doors open for people to come in without bags, it was crazy. So needless to say, we learned our lesson and applied this learning to day 2, but we'll talk more about that in a bit. This was Twice's first return to Seattle since the Ready to Be tour in 2023, which if you haven't seen my review of that show, please check it out with the link in the description because I'll be comparing this experience to it every so often in this video. In 2023, we were down 2 members who got COVID just before the show, and they performed at the Tacoma Dome, which is a much smaller venue than Climate Pledge. And wow, was it evident how much the Tacoma Dome held them back. This was a TWICE concert and they were magnetic. This Is 4 utilizes a full 360-degree stage and TWICE used every square inch of that thing. While Dahyun revealed she had sustained an ankle injury and was unable to perform the dancing numbers and sequences with high amounts of movement, she was just as involved and included. Climate Pledge Arena was a much more suitable size for a group of this magnitude. The members didn't ignore her, and they didn't ignore certain areas of the audience either. They didn't just stick to the middle of the stage. The choreography was expertly adjusted so that everyone saw everyone. My brother and I were way up in the rafters in the 200 sections, and I still feel like I didn't miss anything. Unbelievable top-notch showmanship from start to finish from all 9 members, as we would expect. I went into the show completely ignorant to the setlist and pretty much spoiler free. The only things I knew was that this was for their This Is 4 album, and they'd probably perform Takedown from K-Pop Demon Hunters, which they absolutely killed, by the way. I know some people didn't want them to sing it, but guys, it's their version of a song from Netflix's most popular film of all time. They were absolutely gonna sing it at the show, and I'm personally glad they did because it was amazing. But other than that, I hadn't seen anything, and I loved it. The show was dynamic. I never lost eyesight of the girls because the lights were bright and their outfits were unmistakably easy to find on stage. Sometimes up in the nosebleeds, if those things aren't balanced correctly, it can be hard to find your favorite performer in amongst the background dancers, but this was so easy and I loved that. The members go up and down the stage the entire show, so no one in the audience is left out. It was truly incredible. I also specifically need to give it up for my girl Jihyo. She was hooting and hollering on the microphone every number. Her confidence when she yelled out, "Who am I?" instead of something like, "Hi everyone, I'm Jihyo." Or her attitude on stage for her solo number, like, God, that is a performer. Jihyo, like the incredible leader she is, made herself known and all of her members known. She went up to Dahyun multiple times to include her in performances, and it was just so nice. All the members absolutely slayed their performances, even though Dahyun's was cut, but Jihyo really owned that stage in comparison to Ready to Be, which is definitely saying something if you've seen my review of that show. Back then, she was really trying to make up for the fact that they were down Jonghyun and Dahyun by giving us spoilers for Killing Me Good and such, but this time, she was on her A game. All of the members were. Jonghyun's solo felt like such a treat because we didn't get her at all last time. While I would have loved Dahyun's solo, I love Chess, and to see her up there moving, she was still crushing it too. I finally at least got to see all 9 members live, and even getting to see them perform at like 8.5 is still a sight to behold. They light up the stage, they fill the stage, and the magic of the whole thing is palpable. It wasn't just a performance of the hits. This was an adult TWICE concert in a proper venue with proper staging, lighting, and equipment. The video screens were easy to see, and in comparison with Ready to Be in 2023, this far outpaced that concert by miles. And then we got to see them again for day 2. The second day in Seattle was surprisingly a lot more fun, not just because we were closer, but because the show itself was different. We learned from day 1 and arrived about an hour before showtime, like the day before, but without any bags and basically walked right into the venue. We had club seating closer to the stage, and at Climate Pledge, the club area has its own entrance into the seating area, its own food and drinks, much more private bathrooms. It's really comfortable. We got some snacks and then took our seats. Again, the show began exactly at 8:15 p.m. and TWICE took the stage soon after the intro finished playing. Day 2 in Seattle had some immediately noticeable changes in comparison to day 1. For one thing, Dahyun was much more animated in her seat while still recovering from her ankle injury. I think on day 1 they were trying to include her with the group but not pull focus away from the performances, but this time she did much more of the arm choreography with the group and seemed a lot more relaxed, which was really nice to see. Actually, in general, the groom seemed a lot more energized and excited on day 2 in comparison to day 1. I've seen some people who weren't there in various comment sections try and accuse the girls of not having energy, besides Jihyo, who consistently performs at level 5000. And personally, I think that's simply not true. Maybe they didn't serve face every single camera frame, but I wouldn't say they underperformed or gave us nothing. As a performer, I could tell that Nayeon, for example, had moments of concentration, looking down and checking her steps and placement on stage, but it wasn't distracting. Her solo performance of Me was as animated as ever. Overall, I found the energy from all of the girls to be higher than day 1, but both nights very satisfactory. And also quickly, just a small rant here. I'm not even going to entertain lip syncing accusations because it simply isn't true. I'm getting really sick of music trolls in comment sections not being able to listen for breaths and inconsistent vowel sounds or extended notes into a microphone, and then using that inability to detect those things to troll performers who are working so hard to entertain at the level in which they do. A good concert audio mixer behind the scenes can limit some of those inconsistencies so you don't hear all of them. Your phone also doesn't pick up everything mixing wise, so unless you were there and you understand audio mixing at live shows, please don't entertain these types of comments. We give them too much attention and energy nowadays. Twice sang live. Some of their micro riffs were different day 1 to day 2, and occasionally, yeah, they used backing tracks in select parts, which is very normal for performances like this. Backing tracks are not lip syncing. So that's that on that, and we're gonna move on. But like I said, day 2 did have a few differences. For one, there was a ton more confetti in different songs. Day 1 only got confetti during I Can't Stop Me, I believe, but day 2 had tons more. There was also a segment towards the end with messages from Seattle Onces sharing nice words for the girls. There was a moment during Likey, the surprise song for day 2, day 1 was Feel Special, where Jungyeon, being the silly clown she is, started throwing water on all of the crew and dancers that were invited onto the stage for the final bow. It was hilarious and everyone was laughing, so you know it was all in good fun. It just seemed overall that the girls were having a lot more fun on day 2 than day 1, and that's saying something because day 1 was great. Overall, if there's anything I would praise the most from the This Is 4 concert, was the use of the 360-degree stage. The choreography adjustments and blocking was executed so well, I will never forget that, and it was very inspiring as a performer myself. Twice didn't just stay in the middle. The screens were so big and clear you could see them even way up in the rafters. The girls used the side stages often and interacted with all angles, left, right, front, behind, turning around to try and connect with as many fans as possible, and I thank them for that. That execution was clearly well thought out and planned nicely. I highly recommend you check out Twice live if you are ever privileged enough to get the chance. They're so good and so entertaining, it really makes you realize how different K-pop concerts are compared to Western shows. The fans are friendly, the culture is great, and the music is wonderful. Twice really outdid themselves this time. I hope one day I'll finally get to see all 9 girls performing together in tip-top shape, and I hope Dahyun recovers quickly, but I personally have no regrets once again. Have you ever had a chance to see Twice live before? What was your experience? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.